Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome to the Faithful Path, where every Saturday I break down the connection between our daily lives and the beautiful religion of Islam, how they both have an impact on each other, and discuss the issues we all have practicing our religion nowadays. So, without further ado, the podcast starts now.
سبيل الدموع سبيل مريب.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome to the first interview of the Faithful Path. Today's topic is about the journey of the hijab. Many people think that the hijab is just a scarf that you wear just to worship Allah, but it's beyond that. Some sisters have some doubts and insecurities about whether they should start wearing the hijab, and others have some doubts about embracing it and fully being proud of it. That's why today we have our special guest, Dalia, that has been wearing the hijab for about 1 year. So, guys, let's give a warm welcome to Dalia Mekawi.
Oh, thank you for the introduction.
Assalamu alaikum, Dalia.
Walaikum salam.
How are you doing?
I'm all good. How are you?
So, just to begin, just give a quick introduction of yourself to the audience.
My name is Dalia. I just moved to Canada recently, almost 2 years ago. I decided to wear the hijab last Ramadan, which was in April 2023. So that's almost a year
Almost
from
1 year,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. It's been a very challenging year. It hasn't been like all good,
Yes.
neither all bad.
Of course, yeah.
But it has been very eye-opening and a lot of experiences that I have been through throughout like my whole life. This year, I would say like has been one of like the most challenging years of my
Yes.
life,
Of very life,
literally.
yes. Yes.
But it has been very also eye-opening in terms of like how people perceive you as a Muslim or not. Like before hijab, I would in a way not like show as a Muslim.
Yeah. Now
You
you're more,
couldn't tell me
yes.
apart from anyone else, but now it's
Yeah.
like you're just more obvious in a way. So I would say like I'm also more conscious about myself. I'm always like thinking, oh, is someone looking at me because I'm wearing a scarf? Is it because I'm Muslim? Is it because this or that?
Yes.
So it's been like a bit of a challenge from that side, and how like people would perceive you. Is everyone being nice to you? Sometimes if someone's not being nice, you're like, oh, is it because I'm Muslim? Is it because they have Islamophobia? Is it?
That's true, yeah.
But that's not always the case, to be honest. I also met a lot of people during this year that have been very supportive, very nice, a lot of very not like just supportive, but in terms of like accepting.
Motivated. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
even they're non-Muslims, but they're accepting you in a way that makes you like, oh, thank
Feel
you.
okay
Like,
and
yeah,
secure,
I'm
yeah.
welcome anywhere. So that's been also like a very
That's nice.
good part
Good
of it. Yeah.
introduction. So the first question today, Dalia, is what motivated your decision to start wearing the hijab, and how has this shift impacted your daily life since then?
What motivated me wasn't like exactly a thing. I would say it was more of an urge, maybe. Like, yeah, I had the idea in the back of my head, and I know a lot of girls have this thought going and coming in, and you're like, should I wear it? Should I not? Like with all the pressure, the social pressures we're going through every day, especially when you live abroad and not in a Muslim country, it's just like a little harder in a way. And then I just decided to do it one day, and I don't know why I decided to do it. It's just like an urge, and I'm like, okay, no, I need to start doing it. Yes, before that, I was trying to get closer to God. I was trying to read more into the Quran, doing more tadabbur, learning more about Islam, like the right way into being a better Muslim, practicing it like into a more faithful way. Like before, because I was born Muslim, so I was just like any other born Muslim.
Fully,
I'm practicing it, but just like out of, yeah, my parents told me what to do and what not to do. I didn't look into it. I didn't really read into it. And after reading a lot into it for like the past year and a half, I would say, I started to feel more in touch with like my fell apart. And then literally it's just like one day this urge just kept nagging, and I'm like, okay, no, I need to do it. Like I can't stay one more day not doing it.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I feel like it's part of my identity. I don't love it every day. I don't wake up every day going like, yeah, I love being a hijabi, but I think like now closer to a year in hijab, I'm much more comfortable in it. I'm much more accepting of my own self in it, which is like a very hard part of being a hijabi Muslim in a foreign country. I would say I'm super, super, super blessed to have a very big support system around me, like my family, my friends, even my non-Muslim friends. They're very, very supportive of who I am, how I act, and some of them like don't even know a lot of about Islam or like how we act, perceive everything, and they're like trying to learn more about it so like we can be better friends together. I would say like that's also.
So it's mostly
helping.
because like of the knowledge that you gained. It's not like a certain person that motivated you, or
no, not really a person. It's just like I think when you learn about God and you learn about the beauty of Islam and all the teachings that actually are learned through the Quran help you find like a calamity in a way in the path to learning about God and learning about Islam and learning about you learn about yourself in a way. I find that hijab not only acts as like a way of submission to God, it's also like a mini guard to yourself.
Yes.
Because while wearing it, I always am aware that I represent Islam. Anyone that sees me knows like I am a Muslim. So any action I do also is like counted as being, because she's Muslim. So you try to always be a very good Muslim in front of everyone. Not only because you want to be a very good Muslim, you want to be the best version of yourself, but you want to prove to everyone this is Islam. This is the true Islam. These are the true Muslims. It's not just all the bad Muslims that show in like social,
on the internet.
But I find like you're the visible Muslim, so it's also a challenge in that way because sometimes you don't want to act like a very
true.
You
like
have to do it.
Like I said, the hijab, like it's not only to worship Allah, but it's like giving you a sense of identity, and like it's helping you becoming a better version of yourself every single day.
Yeah, that's very, very true. You wake up every day and you're like, I chose today to worship Allah in this form. And it's a visible form. It's I think part of the, I read once like someone wrote, it's a part of the preservation of visible Islamic practices, and it like resounded so much with me because yes, that is like a form of it.
Yeah, that's true. Nice. Okay, so second question. I know that you moved from Egypt to Canada about 2 years ago.
Yes, true.
So how do you navigate cultural differences between Egypt and Canada, especially in terms of expressing your identity through your entourage and environment?
Like I said, like I have my support group. I would say that's like the most not foundational, I'd say, but like this is the most important thing that someone should like surround themselves with family and friends that support you in whatever decisions you want to make, obviously for the right, but not like just any decision.
Yeah, that's true.
But even my friends that are around me in Canada or in Egypt are very supportive of like my choices. A lot of my friends in Egypt helped me actually attend like tadabbur classes. They were with me like through the journey. Some of them attended with me. So I think like we say al-sahib sahib, you have to have a good friend.
Yes, that's
or
true.
surround yourself with
That
good friends that
you.
motivate you to do better.
Exactly.
And like
That's
be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
So I would say that was like a very big part of it. I never feel like out of place around them. Even my friends here in Canada, I always feel like I belong to someone. I belong with a group of friends, so I don't feel like, oh, I'm alienated from other people.
That's true.
to other people, to other girls, maybe that isn't like the easiest thing. I know that because although I did not go through like, I'm sure I have had like a very easy year to say. Maybe next year is not as easy, but like this year, I think God knows how much it has been a challenge to wear the hijab. So I think He surrounded me, He helped me.
Exactly. He's
by guiding me,
you.
to be surrounded by people that support me in this. So it's not like as much of a challenge as it would have been to someone else. And that for that, I'm super, super, super grateful. Like I read other hijabi stories and I'm like, oh my God, if I went through this, maybe I would have hated being a hijabi.
True,
if I went through this, maybe I would have taken it off.
But
and it's something I didn't want to do. Like at the beginning, I'm sure like the first year or like the first even few months are the hardest. So I'm very thankful that God did not put me in a test where I couldn't have done it.
He made it easy for you.
Yeah.
But like aside from your family and friends that support you with the hijab, how do you explain or how would you describe the difference between the environment in Egypt and in Canada?
In Egypt, the thing is like you find a lot of hijabis because it's a Muslim country in a way.
Yeah.
Majority of people there are Muslims, so it's easier to blend in because you're more or less like every other woman there, and it's far more acceptable over there.
That's true.
But I find in Canada, which is something I like about being in Canada, that also here, because there are a lot of immigrants, a lot of people, even if they're non-Muslims, they are accepting of you being a different person.
That's true.
Regardless of is different you wearing a hijab or not, you being a Muslim or not, everyone is accepting of everyone else.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of acceptance from Egypt to here, but at the end of the day, you're just accepted regardless. So that's what's comfortable. Like even if you are different, as long as you're accepted, that's going to be
that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it is.
You have to accept everybody like as who they are regarding their religion, their race, their everything.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, so last question. What was the reaction of your family and friends when they heard you that you started wearing the hijab or saw you for the first time?
Okay, yeah. Some people were super like nice and supportive. A lot of people cheered me for it. My group of friends in the Tadabbur lesson we used to attend actually did like a mini party for me.
No way.
Yeah, because I wore the hijab when I was in Canada.
Yeah.
And then I went to Egypt like a few months after. So it was the first time everyone saw me real life with it. And they had like a mini party for me, like for wearing the hijab.
Yeah.
So that was like, some of the people's reactions were so good. They were super supportive, super like encouraging. And a few reactions weren't so good. They were like, oh, why did you do it? Now you live in Canada, you should have been like, in a way, it's not cooler, but like some people expect you to be like more open-minded.
Yes.
Which I don't know why that has to do with this, but some people think of it as like, oh, now you're supposed to be like less open-minded if you wear the hijab. I don't know why. But there were very few like negative comments. But other than that, honestly, the rest of everyone around me was like,
there had to be like positive
and
negative.
It was like a bit hurtful, to be honest, at the beginning. But like if I got these comments maybe now, I wouldn't have been as hurt as I was like at the beginning. I think at the very beginning of my hijab journey, I was like super vulnerable because I had like spent 28 years of my life not wearing a hijab, and it's a big step to me.
Of course.
Maybe to someone else, they're like, oh, but that was supposed to be happening since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like a big step.
Yeah.
So when I found like a few negative comments, I was like a bit discouraged. But then I would say, oh, but that's like one comment versus like 10. So I'll not listen to that one comment and leave 10 other comments. And also, I wasn't doing it for people. I wasn't pleasing anyone. I was doing it for God. So every time I would feel like discouraged, I would remember like, I'm not doing this for anyone. I'm doing this for God. And He knows like my intentions towards it. And I used to pray so much for like strength to be able to keep this on.
Exactly. That's the best.
So yeah, I find like I am stronger now about it because God listened to my prayers for sure. Like it hasn't been the same since the beginning to now.
Wow, nice. Aside like from your friends in Egypt and Canada, what about your family when they first saw you? Because I remember when I like the first time I saw you, I thought like
It
maybe
was a
like you were
joke.
just praying or something, and then a couple of hours later I see you still like wearing the hijab. I was like, I
Yeah.
was surprised.
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised because it was a surprise to myself. I just like decided it one time. So yeah, a lot of people actually were surprised at the beginning because it wasn't like something I had discussed with anyone. Like literally, like you said, we were just like together yesterday, and the next day you're like
Exactly.
seeing me
I
in
was
hijab,
so
and you're like,
shocked.
"What's this?" You didn't even
Yes.
say anything about it.
Yeah.
But like, no, my family, everyone was supportive. There were just like a lot of, "Oh, how did you do it? Why did you do it? Are you sure you want to do it?" Because like at the age of 28, you're just like old enough to decide for yourself. No one can tell you, "Oh, you shouldn't," or "You shouldn't." But everyone wouldn't. I think a lot of people didn't expect it to happen. I would say, but I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful I did it.
Of course, I'm so happy for you to like start
Thank
wearing
you.
the hijab. Okay, so before we pass on to the 5 rapid questions, I would just like you to give one advice for the sisters that have doubts and insecurities about like starting wearing the hijab, and one advice for the sisters already wearing it, but to fully embrace it and be proud of it.
I don't know if I'm in place to tell others because I'm like still developing things myself. But if I would say like one advice, I would definitely say that if you want to wear it, or if you are thinking about wearing it, know that at the end of the day it is not as easy as it looks. Because honestly, when like I see other like influencers or bloggers or whatever, they're wearing it and they're like acing everything, they look so good in it, and their hijabs are like so nice and they're so good all the time, and I'm like, but why do I look like so not like them? And sometimes you just see their posts and you're like, but that's not like how I look, or that's not how I feel. Some people feel so much better about it, but you have to remember they've been
through a lot,
through this for a lot, and they're showing the good side, just like everything else on social media. Everyone's just showing you the good side of their life. So I would say if someone is like thinking about doing it, pray so much for God to give you the guidance and the strength to do it, because as much as it is like an obligation, it's not an easy one.
That's true.
And especially if you haven't done it like since the beginning, it gets harder with time. And I would say I'm so lucky to have worn it today, or like this year, last year. Yes, because part of me doesn't like, just like everyone else, we don't know what could have happened if I not worn it. I don't know if I could have the strength to wear it again in another time.
That's true. It also takes a lot of patience to like for God to, like you said, like guide you through this like decision of wearing the hijab.
Absolutely. I think it's always like God's guidance to us that makes us do some of those actions or take some decisions specifically. And I think this specific decision was like God sent. It wasn't like me. I didn't decide it. It was like God.
And He guided you through it.
He guided me through it. So I would say if anyone wants to do it, but they can't do it, or they did not get enough courage to do it, definitely pray to God to guide you and to give you the strength to do it.
That's true. That's the best advice. Okay, so time for the rapid questions.
Okay.
So the first one is, who is your favorite reciter of the Quran?
My favorite reciter is Abdurrahman al-Sudais.
Abdurrahman
al-Sudais. He's my all-time favorite.
He's one of my top 3 too. I like the Yasir al wait, what's his name? Yasir al-Quddisi?
I think yes.
Yasir al-Quddisi, yeah. But that's good. Okay, second question. Favorite name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and why?
Favorite name? I would say As-Samia, the all-hearing.
Hearing, yeah.
because it makes me think of like how every prayer or every time you pray, like we all know that when you pray, when you're doing sujood, that's like the closest you are to God.
That's true.
When you're doing
Yeah.
prayers or you're doing dua to God. And that's like my favorite time of doing any prayer I would like to do. I always like do
Take your
sujood and then
time and
take my
everything.
time on
Exactly,
like
yeah.
making
We have to
dua.
do that.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I love that one of God's names is As-Sami', because he's hearing you. He's hearing every
everything
person.
you say, everything
He hears,
yeah.
and it's just amazing how he hears every person's prayers.
Oh yeah.
So
that's
even
true.
if it's not like in sujood, even if you're praying, if you look out the window and you see something and you say Subhanallah,
He hears that.
or if you see something nice and you're like, God, maybe one day I hope to have this thing, or anything. Literally a lot of small actions that happen, or small encounters every day. Just like remind yourself, any small prayer you do, God listens to it.
God listens to everything you say. SubhanAllah. Okay, third question. What is the last book that you read or currently reading?
It's funny because I'm learning French right now. You know that. Because in the part in Canada where we live in, I have to learn French. So part of my learning journey is reading like a book. So in French, I'm a beginner. And I'm right now reading a book for kids to help my French. So it's called Naomi le Dragon avec de paillettes arc-en-ciel. So it's like a kid's book, but it's for my French.
Would you recommend it to the kids? Like rating on 10 or?
No, okay, to me, it's a bit like complicated.
It's complicated.
Given my French skills, it's a bit complicated. Yeah, maybe I'd say like if a kid's like 7, 8 years old, they'll be able to read it. Probably. I don't know.
That's nice. Okay. Fourth question. If I give you a time machine and you can only use it once, would you go to the future or to the past, and why?
Do I have to?
Yeah.
If I go anywhere, like I would say I want to go to the future, but to be honest, I'm not sure that's a good idea either.
Like, would you go to the past to maybe like fix some of your mistakes, or to the future to see what's like ahead of you, so you can start planning?
Honestly, no, I'm not sure, because like if you see the future, you don't know if something good is gonna happen or not. You never
That's
know.
true.
So maybe you don't want to know.
Maybe.
Maybe I'll go to the past.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe I'll go to the past. There isn't like a specific thing I would like to change. But maybe I would like to be
to see all the mistakes you made.
Yeah, maybe I'd like to like realize some of my mistakes. So I can work on them more.
Me too, actually. Because the future, like, we never know.
No, you never know if you want to really see it or not.
Exactly. Okay. Last question is, let's say that in the future with your family, your husband and kids, where would you like to live? Your dream country of living?
Dream country? No, I don't really have a dream country, to be honest. I don't have like a specific, I would like to go there.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future there is like a better country to live in. I'm not sure. I don't know. I would love to live where my family is, like my mom, brothers, sisters, and even extended family. But I'm sure that's not like accessible to everyone or to me. But yeah, maybe like I would really, really hope to one day go back to my country.
Go back to Egypt. Huh? Yeah, me too. I wish. Okay, so perfect. Thank you so much, Dalia. It's been an honor for me to have you as the first interviewee
of the
Faithful Path. Thank you for the audience for listening, and I hope you guys liked it. So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.